Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Kevin, and that's Mark, and this is What Elon Said, where we cover all of Elon's tweets and interviews and provide commentary and any insight from our end about what Elon said. And today is March 1st, 2022. It's a Tuesday, and we've got Twitter up, and we'll jump right into it. We'll be covering content on Starlink's participation in Ukraine, FSD in Canada. We've got some Cybertruck updates and a couple other things. So we'll move into it here. What do we got here? Mark, what's up?
Yeah, so we have the Ukrainian, I think the Minister of Digital is his title. And he has, the Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine and Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine. He initially sent a tweet out to Elon Musk asking if they could receive Starlink for their country, that he thinks it's great they're exploring space, but they need it. And Elon responded, almost with a couple hours. He said, Starlink service is now active in Ukraine, more terminals en route. And it wasn't just words. The next day you saw them there. The minister said, we received them. I'm sure they're going to be receiving a lot more. And he thanked Elon, and Elon said, you're most welcome. So it was very fast acting initiative that hopefully will help out Ukraine at least stay online and get information and be able to communicate and send out information to the world. So a positive note in a very bad situation.
Absolutely. A lot of interesting comments below this tweet, both on the positive side and on the negative side, and some just generally like pragmatic discussion about how this would work and making sure that there's operation security with the communications, just, kind of reminding people about that, and really bringing some, additional context to the whole situation of Starlink satellites being used for communications in a war zone. Some interesting questions I saw. I tend to look optimistically and support things like this that Elon does and that his companies does, and stay on the optimist side. But there's some questions that I saw that were intriguing to me, like how many are in there, right? How many are in that picture? How many are getting over there? How will they be distributed? Is it safe to use these? Can they be intercepted by Russian communications and then, destroyed in some way? And could it potentially be a bad thing to be using these? And really, one of the questions was, how did they even get them there, right? So you're moving things really quickly within 48 hours, a truck full of Starlink terminals to a war zone in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
So
definitely brave people brought him in.
Yeah.
So that definitely, and it's amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Those are all excellent questions. It's funny. I heard that, I forgot where, but the while the West, Europe, East, the EU and the United States are seeing all the heroics. That's what we're seeing out of Ukraine a lot of the time now, like how heroic the Ukrainian people are. While they are seeing that in the Ukraine as well, a lot of the information on Twitter, the Twitter view they're seeing is some heroics, but also a lot of info in Ukrainian on how to start a truck, how to use a weapon. Everyone's looking at that practical stuff. So they might have, speculating that if they have Starlink, like how to use Starlink, how to connect. And I think a lot of how-to guides are being distributed very fast on Twitter for civilians to use to stay alive and also to fight back.
Yeah, just amazing how integral Twitter and just social media in general has become for the communication of information like that.
That's right. It is amazing.
A totally different world.
They're saying that Russia is fighting the 2010s war, and the Ukraine is fighting a 2020s war.
Yeah, it seems that way. And hopefully a 2020 war can defeat, just a 2010 war of might.
Yep.
But I don't know, still ongoing there. So we'll see. But really, just fascinating to see it play out and see the role that social media is playing in it. And just in general in the last few years, right? There's been so much that has changed with world affairs based on social media.
Absolutely.
It's like
It's been fast
everybody
changing.
basically is a news commentator in one way or another if they're participating.
It's a new world.
It is, and will continue to evolve. So, and it will really evolve once we have FSD. So here's a tweet from Drive Tesla about FSD in Canada, which has been a topic of recent days. And they're saying, oh, been waiting a long time for this button. And it's a request full self-driving beta button. And the question to Elon was, will the rollout be the same as in the US where you need 7 days to get 100 safety score to get the beta? And Elon's response here was, depends on what issues we see that are unique to Canada, which we've talked about on previous episodes. If things are looking good, then we can lower the safety score threshold. So I was a little bit confused by this, right? Because I would think that, yeah, okay, so I know that you need to request it, then prove safe driving skills basically through the safety score, and then you'll be provided the beta. But when he says depends on what issues we see that are unique to Canada, wouldn't they need beta testers on the ground to see those issues? I know he said that there's 60 currently, but
yeah, maybe as they're in that 7-day window, they could see if there are issues where it's performing better or worse with the Canadian audience. I mean, I guess before the 7 days, they'll know if it's really how safe they're driving. That's
yeah,
my guess.
I guess I wondered if, when they put in this request, if there's some data that's gathered, we know it's safety data, but like also camera data in ways that's, that they'd have to struggle with to solve for the FSD, before they actually turn on the beta for people.
I'm not sure. I still wonder how it would be different there versus the US because it's still the same FSD. I don't know if it's because it's different cell phone network or how the data is being transmitted. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think there's just different terrain, different road infrastructure, and different probably signage to some extent.
Definitely different signage. But
Yeah.
I know the US is such varied terrain that I can't imagine it'll be that much different than what they did encounter in the US in different parts.
Yeah. But probably a lot more rural terrain as well. I think FSD currently is built for like optimization in San Francisco, basically, and then in like more suburban areas. I don't know how well it handles all
most.
of.
I mean, 90% of the population
traffic
in Canada is in urban areas. So
say it again.
they're all most of the population in Canada is in urban areas.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
like
but we'll see.
country.
You never know.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. All right, let's switch over to the likes here. We just have a few.
Yes. Good news here. So we have Deimos. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Deimos is the gateway to Mars. This is showing one of their 2 oil rigs that they purchased last year. It's amazing. They're retrofitting entire oil rigs to be the launch pad for Starship. The theory is, or the reason why, is that they can bring it out to sea, a little further out to sea. There's much less danger if something goes wrong, and also the noise level will be much lower for people, not for the fish, but much lower for the people. Rather having a rocket constantly going off in Florida and Texas, of just, especially Texas, it's going to lower the noise level. So they'll move it out to sea. That's where most of the launches are going to happen, at least for the near future, on their 2 There are two oil rigs retrofitted, and I think initially when they purchased it, Elon said he was aiming to start using it in 2022, which is this year. We'll see if that
Wow.
happens.
Okay.
So his, the first, maybe the third or fourth launch will be from those. Maybe the first, I don't know. But they are definitely planning to use that as their main source of Starship launches.
Yeah, interesting. Was unaware of that until this tweet here and dug into it a little bit. But I guess they're moving this over to a port in South Mississippi to retrofit it. And then do you have any idea where they would move it out to for launch? Just into the Gulf, I guess.
Yeah, I would think they would launch off the Gulf away from their Boca Chica location where they load it on there and just move it out far enough into the Gulf. Gulf is calmer water, so I imagine that's preferable than moving it to an area off of the Atlantic. But they're so big it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
And but I think it would just be launched from the Gulf, is my guess. So
yeah, so just a launch pad and won't be used to catch returning boosters or a Starship.
maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I might, the same way they have the drone ships capture the boosters now, because the booster is bigger on Starship, they might use it as a it lands there and then just relaunch it. I don't even know if they have to remove it from the launch pad. I'm guessing that they don't have to, but I don't know what's involved. But I think their ideal goal is to have it land and go back up in the same day, right? That's the ultimate goal. So they might just land on there and just relaunch.
Wow.
And maybe to get the if there's people, I guess they'd have to be ferried out all the time. I can't imagine that the oil rig would constantly come back and forth to shore all the time. I think that you would go out to it.
I cannot imagine that these things move very fast. It's like,
no, I don't think so.
But we need an artist's rendition of this thing ASAP.
There is one.
The Starship Tower. I didn't see it. Is it somewhere in the comments?
No, not in the comments, but I have seen it before.
Wow.
That there is an artist
out in the water.
Yeah, they close to shore, but you see it. I don't know. I could look around for it, but there definitely is. There is one. If I could, while we talk, I could look it up. If we go through the next one.
Yeah. Cool. Well, either way, it's a great image that I'm picturing of this thing just standing tall in the middle of the ocean. And so this was from Nick Answini, who's photojournalist for NASA spaceflight, which I also thought was interesting that he tagged at NASA spaceflight. It wasn't there wasn't a tag of Elon here.
No.
And, all the pictures have his watermark down on the bottom there.
I have the wait, is this the art? Actually, no, it's not. It's just a rendition of Starship. Okay. I thought it was, but it's not. We definitely need one.
Yeah, I haven't seen one yet of the launch pad in the ocean, which I'm sure it's coming. It's probably already out there somewhere. All right, so let's go to the next one, which was also SpaceX related, but a little bit of a different spin to it.
All right.
And this is from Pranay Pathole. This is Kanye hanging out with Elon Musk at the SpaceX rocket factory back in 2011. He's been throwing a lot of support behind Kanye recently.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. They definitely, he maybe had to, I don't know if that was recent that he was at the concert or when they showed him backstage with him, but maybe just he just really enjoyed himself. So he's just, but it is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I also think it's funny that all these pictures, Kanye is never smiling.
You're right. He seems to be mugging for the camera there.
He's never smile. But I guess they've known each other for a long time. So
I mean, look, Kanye's quite a visionary and an artist, and it seems that Elon respects him a good deal. And I think he's also a very individual personality who speaks his mind, whether it is the common zeitgeist or not.
That's right.
He's going to do his own thing, and I think that's probably something that Elon appreciates.
The other observation I have on this picture, just going back in time, is that the other day we were talking about how Elon's became less formal over time, definitely from his PayPal days. But here, this is 12 years ago or 11 years ago, and he's just wearing the t-shirt. But his two Kanye pictures that we saw, he's wearing a weird like logo t-shirt in both.
Yeah, the one backstage, he had a crypto t-shirt on.
Yeah, crypto.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what this one is, but
if he had a crypto shirt back then, he really would have been visionary. But
I'm sure he did to some extent.
Maybe.
I think he understood the value of crypto even back in the PayPal days. I saw some other pictures of him and Elon down in the comments earlier, but I don't see him now.
Nah, it's been too many comments.
Anyway, good shot. He liked
good
it.
Shot.
Maybe he just liked the t-shirt that he was wearing at the time.
Could
like,
be.
dang, I missed that shirt.
And the SpaceX module looks like that was 11 years ago. Really? They had those modules back then?
Yeah,
I guess so.
Is that Dragon capsule?
I guess, but I'm wondering, is this really from 2011? I don't know.
I mean, 2011 was definitely the heyday of Kanye.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know that Elon. I mean, that was like early days of Tesla. So
yeah, I'm surprised they had the Dragon capsule behind them. I guess that was an early version of it.
Yeah.
So here we have, switching gears back to the Tesla world. Teslarati posted Tesla continues Cybertruck tests around the Fremont factory. Very cool how they're doing the race course sort of, but it is such a wild looking vehicle there.
Yeah.
It really looks like something out of a sci-fi movie where like that's what the cars of the future will be. They need to be like a tank to protect you from the warring factions.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, but like we were saying on a previous episode that it's built by engineers to be the like baddest ass pickup truck possible. And I think it was on the recent Ross Gerber discussion with Meet Kevin, where he was talking about how brilliant it is how Elon's kind of aligning himself with the trucker like industry and kind of community, by kind of moving to Texas, throwing his support behind the truckers in Canada, and just generally creating just a really monster of a truck, right? And whether you like the design or not, I don't think there'll be any debating the power of the engine, the power of the structure of it,
and the space in the back. And obviously they're making it just beyond crazy because they're taking so long for it that it has to be really revolutionary. I like looking over there how big they didn't have too many or give you much of a chance, but how big it is compared to the Model 3.
Yeah. So if I'll share the actual article here. So let me just do that. And we'll actually jump into it and look at the actual pictures that were in the article. But yeah, there's some good still shots, and then there's one here. It is. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah. Look at that.
Right.
Compared to that, that's you need a big parking spot for that one.
Yeah, a lot of the commentary within the actual article was about the size of Cybertruck, and cut next to a Model S, which is not a small sedan. I mean, it's a mid-sized sedan, and it's a good couple feet longer at least. I think enormous. They mentioned in here that it was 231 inches, which is like 19 feet or so. So
it says similar to the Ford F-150 though.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was bigger. Interesting.
But also notable was the cover over the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
Retractable tonneau cover, which was activated here in some of this drone footage. So.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah. So cool stuff from Teslarati, a good source for daily Tesla news as usual.
Yep.
And that is it for Elon's activity on Twitter in the last day. What do you think? It's probably about due for an interview coming up. I wonder how
I would think
the
so. It's been a
interview
little
plans
while.
with Dave Lee and Rob Maurer are coming together. Hoping to see
Yeah,
some
that should be, we're looking forward to it. We'll see what he said at that interview. This should be interesting. Those interviews are fantastic. He always provides not necessarily a reveal of what the products are, but just how he thinks and what his vision is always fascinating. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that about wraps it up for today. And we will be following the situation in Ukraine closely, as well as Elon's involvement in it.
That's right.
We'll touch base with everybody tomorrow.
Bye.
Have a good one.